It's time now for latest and local news in the news. On Friday morning, the Wayne County Board of Education held a retreat at the Tech Center, and the board and superintendent heard from every principal in the school system as each gave an overview of what's taking place at their school. After all the principals spoke, Dr. Kelly had these comments to the board members.
Our guys are doing, and girls are doing great things. They're working hard. They're facing every challenge with their heads up high. You know, they deal with a rather demanding superintendent from time to time, and that's good. And they were told from day one that I want to make them a little uncomfortable because I want the very best that they've got, and they have not disappointed me in the least. You know, they get after it. They stick their nose in it, for lack of a better way of saying it. You know, every single day they show up to work and work hard for these kids, and I don't want anybody to think that the people who run our buildings and the people who work in our buildings, whether it be, you know, custodial to the principal, to the cafeteria staff, the teachers, they're working hard, really, really hard, and they're making a difference. And, you know, I'm very appreciative. I probably don't say it enough.
WIFO had a chance to talk with Board Chairman Nick Ellis and ask him for his thoughts about how he thought the retreat went.
Here, Board Chairman Nick Ellis, at the retreat, as you mentioned, hadn't had one in 2017. All the principals spoke. Just want to get your thoughts on what it brings to the Board of Education.
Well, this morning it gives us an opportunity to actually talk to some administrators who were not in place back in 2017, and also some of the board members who were not elected in position. It gave them an opportunity to hear some more in-depth data and information about each school. And now we're going to transition this afternoon into our district office administrators and allow some of those new people to share their ideas and new initiatives. It also gives the opportunity for our new superintendent to hear information outside of his directors and administrator meetings with us and allow us to ask questions and also share some ideas and things that we would want to see from a board perspective implemented into our schools and ultimately in our district.
A lot of information was given, as I mentioned, a lot of it's about data and information and feedback. So your thoughts on that?
Well, currently in our research, we see where we're sitting mainly in, our third and fourth out of 17, 18 counties. So, we see where we are. It's good, but there is room for improvement in some areas. And we also were able to look at schools individually and see some of our schools that are currently underperforming and identify that there's some issues not only with just attendance on our students, but also with our staff to help move the needle forward.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
Once again, those comments of Board Chairman Nick Ellis. All the directors spoke to the board as well, including Carla Armstrong, Director of Nursing, Dr. Randy Trapnell, Director of Food Service, and David Simmons, Director of Maintenance and Transportation. Some points of interest from the retreat from the principals. Jesup Elementary Principal Carla Ogden told the board members that the 2 days of virtual learning this week was a major train wreck, and she described it as a nightmare. Nick Ellis echoed the comments, saying as a parent at home, it was a train wreck as well. No one in favor of the virtual setting. Superintendent Kelly says he's glad they're back on the hybrid schedule. He hopes to continue that for as long as they can and possibly before too long get back to a normal school day. At Odom Elementary, Gina Roddy talked about how her school provides tutors in math and reading. Gladwin Harper and Martha Ross Smith says he sees a problem with recruiting certified teachers to come to Wayne County. Jeremy Foreman, principal at Arthur Williams, says his student test scores rank higher than the state average in 6 out of 10 categories. He talked about the e-walk system that he and the superintendent are introducing in the school system. It's designed to look at a complete classroom, give the teacher feedback on how the classroom can improve. Foreman says it's not designed to be punitive, but helpful looking at data. He says data doesn't lie, and they use and follow the data to make improvements to their school system. Dr. Brett McDaniel, the high school principal, pointed to the 93% graduation rate and how that has dramatically improved. He also says the high school had a major problem with tardiness and abuse of cell phone policy, but all that has decreased dramatically. He says at one point 125 to 140 kids were tardy each day for the first class of the day, but after emphasizing and making some adjustments, students are accountable. It's now down to about 20 kids on average. High school pleased with their CTA classes and how well that program is going at the high school. Those are just some of the comments from the principals at the retreat on Friday. Personnel, always part of the agenda. Certified resignation, Tommy Witherspoon, Wayne County High School. Classified resignations, Amy Brown, Transportation. Jennifer Carter, Arthur Williams Middle School. Tina Sutton, Martha Ross Smith Elementary. And Jessica Thompson, Martha Ross Smith Elementary. One termination, classified termination, Jim Neesmith, Wayne County High School. That's a look at your retreat from yesterday. We'll be back with more news after this word from our sponsor of the commercial messages, so please stay tuned. In other news, the Wayne County Sheriff's Department asking for help about a man who was found lying dead on the side of the road in Scriven yesterday. Sheriff Chuck Mosley announces that the 911 center received a call about a male laying on the side of the road. Deputies and EMS were dispatched to the scene. EMS determined the male was not breathing and had other injuries. The male was identified as 57-year-old James Allen Stroud of Scriven, Georgia. Wayne County Coroner responded to the scene, and Stroud was pronounced dead at the scene. Sheriff's Office is investigating the death. And Sheriff Mosley asked if anyone has information about the case to contact the Sheriff's Office at 427-5970 or the Communications Center at 427-5992. And they thank you for your assistance, but again, still seeking some information on what happened to James Allen Stroud. Again, had several injuries lying in a ditch on the side of the road yesterday morning. GBI also investigating how more than a dozen cars waiting to be worked on at Ludwig Auto Shop ended up in a nearby scrapyard without any of the owners of the vehicles having any idea what happened to their vehicle. Long County Sheriff's Department reports more than 20 victims are involved. Many have not been identified as of yet. GBI says they stepped in after the Long County Sheriff's Department asked for help back on August 28th. They say it's a possible theft of more than 20 vehicles from South Georgia Towing. Hinesville resident Miranda Pugh says her truck was at the Immaculate Concepts in Ludwig waiting to be worked on. She says someone in her family alerted her that the shop had been closed. A couple of weeks ago, she says a relative drove by, told her you might want to call the police because your vehicle is gone and the shop's closed and there's nobody there. Since then, she's been in contact with the Long County Sheriff's Department and the GBI, but she's learned that her Dodge truck was towed and is now sitting in a scrapyard. Both the Long County Sheriff's Department and GBI investigating and in the process of identifying owners of the towed vehicles. Sheriff's Department asking that anyone who used Immaculate Concepts and hasn't picked up their vehicles to please contact them or the GBI. GBI is investigating the tow truck company that took cars from Immaculate Concepts from Long County. Jesup PD is also involved in this investigation as they confirm the man who ran the Immaculate Concepts in Long County also has an auto shop here in Jesup, and the Jesup PD has opened up its own investigation into his Jesup auto shop. We'll be back with some final news notes after this word from our sponsor of the commercial messages, so please stay tuned. Final notes and news, both the City of Jesup and Scriven have elections this November, and the City of Jesup has a special election to fill the mayor's position as David Earl Keith resigned as of September 1. Two men have entered the race as both Ralph Hickox and Tyrone Johnson have put their hat in the ring to be the next mayor of Jesup. Today on the Butch and Bob Show, Tyrone Johnson joins us to talk about his campaign and why he would like to be mayor. City of Jesup has 3 contested council seat races in November. In District 2, incumbent Dawn Darden has opposition from Pamela Schuman. She's going to join us next Tuesday on the Butch and Bob Show to talk about her campaign. In District 3, incumbent Nick Harris has opted not to run to seek re-election, so 2 candidates will seek the council seat. Former City Commissioner Tim Cockfield and Stephanie Williams, who was on yesterday's Butch and Bob Show, hoping to have Tim Cockfield one day next week. And in District 6, incumbent Bill Harvey, who appeared on last Friday's Butch and Bob Show, challenged by Heather Altman, still lining her up to be on the show as well. In the City of Scriven, 2 contested races will be lining these candidates up before the election. In Seat 2, incumbent Brandon Harris challenged by Adam Pruitt. And in Seat 5, incumbent Lonnie Murphy challenged by Tony Brinkley. Other seats the incumbents will return. Seat 2, Lee Stevenson. Seat 3, Raquel Wright. And Seat 4, Bobby Gray. And the mayor's race, Scriven Mayor Jason Weaver will return for another term as he's running unopposed. Once again, the election date, Tuesday, November 2nd. Early voting begins in October. That's going to do it for the latest in local news. Sports comes your way in a few minutes. Bob Morganson, have a great day.